The heart of my home is the kitchen. And at this time of the year, it's the perfect place to gather and celebrate the festive season. Merry Christmas, everybody. For me, Christmas is all about rustling up some fantastic food and eating it in the company of my favourite people. These are the dishes that I cook when I want to spread a little bit of cheer. These are my Christmas home comforts. If there's one night that's perfect for having a gang of friends around, it's New Year's Eve. So this evening, it's all back to mine. And when I'm entertaining, these are the dishes that I like to cook to start my new year off with a bang. So I'm going to make a dessert that's guaranteed to make every guest drool. How good does that look? Annie Gray's certainly in the party mood as she joins a boozy celebration in Austria.
Please, 2 bottles.
And back here, I invite one of my friends to make himself at home.
So, welcome to the Charlie Borman cooking show.
Hang on, not that much at home. I'm starting with a bite-sized bake and a simple nibble that are perfect for kicking off a party. I'm going to make a really simple choux pastry, but fill it full of some delicious smoked salmon mousse. Really simple to prepare, but there are keys to making a choux pastry work properly, and it's all about this first part. Put 125 ml of water along with 50 grams of diced butter into a pan. Then slowly heat the water so the butter melts before it comes to the boil. If we boil this rapidly while waiting for the butter to melt, all that water is reducing and it unbalances the recipe and your choux pastry doesn't rise. It's as simple as that. As soon as the butter does melt, add 75 grams of flour. Keep it on the heat and mix it all together well. You can tell when this is ready for 2 reasons. One, it will come together as a big lump. The other one, and this is how I was taught, ever since I was a young kid I've been making this, but I was always taught to listen. That wasn't just at school, it was also for choux pastry. Listen. If it pops, it's ready. As soon as that happens, spread the mixture out on a non-stick mat for 2 to 3 minutes, allowing it to cool down. Then transfer everything into a mixing bowl. And then what you need to do is add the eggs. And to do this, just put the machine on low at first, and then pop 1 egg in at a time. If you put all the eggs in, the mixture separates and splits. Once the last of the eggs has gone in, crank it up for a final mix. And now it's time to pipe, which is all about confidence and a little practice. Let me show you. Press the nozzle in, stop, twist. Press the nozzle, stop, twist. This hand is squeezing, this hand's deciding where the mixture's going. It's as simple as that. But I like canapés that are chunky, I suppose. That's the first thing people say about me when they see me, but I actually think there should be almost little mini meals. So, obviously don't make these too big, but they want to be a decent sort of size. Then press down all the tops with your fingers, having dipped them in water. And the main reason for this is the oven's quite hot, and the tops, the pointed part of it, will burn. Some more water sprinkled over the top will create extra steam while they're cooking. That all helps them to rise. After that, pop them in the oven for 15 minutes, which is just enough time to rustle up a super simple canapé. And it uses feta, but really good quality feta. Start by chopping up some watermelon. And then do the same with the cheese. Next, layer them up and place onto a serving plate. And we're going to top this with some Greek basil. It's kind of like a fragrant basil, if that makes sense. We can just put a little sprig on each one. And finally, we've only got to finish this with one thing, and that's vinegar. And it's not malt vinegar. Don't ruin it. It's sherry vinegar. Sherry vinegar's got a fabulous, fabulous taste, but you only want a tiny, tiny bit. I like to put it onto the platter so it doesn't discolour the cheese. And that is your really quick and simple canapé. Done. The choux buns are now cooked, so take them out of the oven and let them cool down while making the filling. I start this by pureeing some smoked salmon in a blender. Then I add some cream cheese, creme fraiche, and a squeeze of lemon. Good grind of black pepper. You won't want any salt because of the smoked salmon. Give it another blitz. What you end up with is a simple smoked salmon mousse, like that. By now, the choux buns have cooled down, so I can make holes in the bottom where the filling will go. The great thing about choux pastry is you can make this and freeze it, and then when anybody just comes round, you can just grab them out of the freezer and fill them, and they defrost in minutes. Put the salmon mousse into a piping bag, and then you can start filling. Put the piping bag right in, fill each one up. For the topping, mix some creme fraiche with lemon juice. Almost like butter icing. Dunk the top of each bun in the mixture, then give them a quick dip in some finely chopped chives. Lay them out for your guest, but do a little taste test before they arrive. Bon appetit. You taste the lemon, smoked salmon, and the chives, and then after that, you taste a little bit of the choux pastry. They're delicious. Don't forget to sample the watermelon and feta canapes either. The first thing you taste is the vinegar. Bang! It hits you on the tongue. And then everything else starts to work. It's delicious, that. 2 mouth-watering canapes, and both can be prepared in under half an hour. The perfect curtain raiser for any New Year party. But as well as food, a celebration needs drink. Fizzy drink. Not fond of traditional bubbly? Well, Herefordshire farmer Dennis Guatkin might just have the thing for an alternative midnight toast.
Cheers.
Dennis produces perry, a form of cider, traditionally made from the perry pears of Herefordshire and the surrounding areas.
The family been farming here for roughly just over 100 years. Perry's quite a difficult drink to make right from start to finish. It's a difficult fruit to grow, it's a difficult fruit to harvest and process, so it's mainly the smaller makers that are still doing it. We're here in the main orchard of the farm where we grow most of our perry pears. These trees are 20-ish years old, planted by me as a boy, so that's quite nice. They'll grow for another 20 foot up into the air. They'll live very near 300 years, so hopefully, well, they'll long outlive me then, put it that way. There'll be somebody else's worry one day, but you plant pears for your heirs, they say, so they're here for the future.
A number of varieties are suitable for making perry, but for a sparkling one, nothing beats the Blakeney Red.
See, with the Blakeney Red pear, they're sun-blushed on the skin, which is where the sun hits it and ripens it and puts all the sugar content in. The only trouble with perry pears, unlike apples, they've got a tendency to ripen from the inside out, which means you can have them rot on the tree. If I were to cut one open, I could show you the inside of the pear, which, as you can see, these are just about right for harvesting.
Because their branch life is much shorter than apples, the pears need to be picked swiftly, otherwise they'll rot. To protect the trees, the fruit's all brought down by hand, using a long hooked rod, or planking pole.
They're like bombs when they come down and hit you on the head, but it's all part of it. Over the years, I've had a couple of black eyes. Everybody thinks it's from down the local pub, but it's not. It's from in the orchard. Perry pears are quite different to apples. It mightn't sound the right thing to say, but they are the fairer sex of the two. A bit like a woman, really. They need a bit of eye maintenance from start to finish.
Letters of complaint to Dennis, please, not me. With the tractor loaded, it's time to go back to the farm with the precious cargo. For the past 5 years, Dennis has had a modern press, producing 7,000 gallons of Perry annually. But before that, he did everything by hand in the traditional way. And if you want to know what that was like, well, here's a demo. First, he mills the fruit into a pulp. Then he packs this into cloth layers, known as cheeses. Then the pulp is pressed until all the juice has run out.
This is a barrel that's just come off the press out there. It needs a couple of months to ferment now, that one, to mature. This is one we've done earlier off the new modern press. And for us to turn that into our sparkling perry for Christmas and New Year, we need to add a little bit of yeast and sugar to just give it that second fermentation to kick it off. So I start off with a little bit of sugar. So we're sprinkling a little bit of sugar on here because it's a natural way to make natural sparkling perry. We'll add a little bit of yeast. This is a cultured yeast, and this is actually a champagne yeast, so it's the right one for the job. When it's a finished job, we call this cheekily champagne because it's got exactly the same characteristics as champagne.
Dennis has invited his cider-making team to his own pub on the farm to taste the fruits of their labours. So how's the bubbly?
It's cheaper than champagne. I bet it's got more taste.
Well, you can see now I'm blushing because it is very, very strong, this glass of Perry, actually. So it's gone straight to my head already.
Well, that sounds like the perfect cue for a celebration. Well, I don't have my own pub. Not yet, anyway. So I'll be doing my New Year's Eve entertaining at home. After eating so much meat over Christmas, I can't think of anything better to serve up than fish. Especially when it's prepared like this. It's the perfect dish if you make it properly. And what I mean by that is you use the right fish. And I've got a beautiful selection here, which is perfect for this. Nice natural smoked haddock, a few prawns, and instead of salmon, I'm using some trout. And if you combine all this together with potatoes, a few herbs, a little bit of lemon juice, and do it with a classic Beurre Blanc, you've got a brilliant dish for this time of the year. So the first thing we're going to do is cook the fish. And for that, you want to create, as the French call, a little court bouillon, which is a mixture of water, lemon juice, and then a few aromats. I've got some bay leaf and just a bit of onion. After that, place the fish into the poaching liquor and gently bring it to the boil. I always find it easy to cook fish in a mixture like this because it keeps it nice and delicate, particularly the trout. When it's been simmering away for 3 to 4 minutes, take it off the heat and leave it to cool. While that's happening, I can get on with making the Beurre Blanc. It's a French traditional sauce, and it's one that I've been making for years. It's really simple. Start off with some diced shallot and white wine. And you put a fair amount in, bring this to the boil, and reduce this down by half. What you're looking for is a texture of sautéed shallots. Now, they shouldn't have any colour on it, but they should be just softened shallots. And then what we do is we add the butter, quite a lot of butter. And all the while you're doing this, off the heat, you keep whisking it. Look at that, the whole block of butter's just gone in there. Now, it may look a bit excessive, but don't blame me, this is French. Nothing to do with me. Finish off with a squeeze of lemon juice, Then pass it all through a sieve. You can just put a touch of black pepper in there. And then finally, some chopped chives. And there you have it. You've got a classic Beurre Blanc, which is brilliant with fish and fish cakes. It's just so simple and so delicious. But you can leave that to one side, and that'll quite happily sit there. Meanwhile, we can turn our attention to the fish. It's cooled down enough to be handled now. So starting with the trout, peel off the skin and flake it up. Then do the same thing with the haddock, but make sure you remove all the bones first. Next, chop up some prawns along with some dill and spring onions. Add a squeeze of lemon before throwing in boiled potatoes that have been left to dry. Season and combine it all together. For me, the ideal ratio is 2 parts fish to 1 part potato. Now, if you're going to deep fry these, I would advise you to basically flour, egg and breadcrumb them. And that way it'll seal in the mixture. Because I'm going to pan fry them, there's really no need to put any egg in here to bind it up. But you must make sure that the potatoes are properly cooked. When you've finished making the patties, pop them in the fridge to firm them up. That'll give you time to make the garnish. All I'm going to use for this is just some rainbow chard. I love this stuff. I grow it all the time in the garden. I mean, just look at the amazing selection of colours. You get purple, orange, reds, yellows. It's fabulous. I'm going to quickly cook the chard in a pan with some water and butter. Don't leave them in there too long, otherwise they'll start to lose their vibrant colour. So drain it off. And then we can cook our fish cakes. So grab plenty of butter. If you're worried about the butter in this bit, you clearly weren't watching when I made the sauce. And then you throw in the fish cakes. It only takes 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And then everything's ready to plate up. Starting with the chard. You can grab your nice fish cake. And then not forgetting this amazing Beurre Blanc. Now you can serve this as a starter or as a main course. It's so delicate. That flavour of the smoked haddock is exactly what you need in this. That combined with the trout, you get chunks of meat, which are the prawns. But it's that sauce. It's just delicious. I like that. Guests won't be expecting these on New Year's Eve, but they'll love them, especially with the sumptuous Beurre Blanc. As for the amount of butter involved, let's just keep that between us. New Year's Eve has always been associated with partying. And today, food historian Ivan Day is going back in time to make an historic celebratory brew called a Wassail.
I'm going to explore wassailing traditions by first of all attempting to reconstruct a beautiful rustic wassail bowl and also make some wassail. Traditionally, village wassail bowls were made either from apple wood or something called maplin, what we would now call maple.
Ivan's decorated his bowl with a specially made hazelwood frame covered with traditional Christmas greenery like holly, mistletoe, rosemary and bay.
Evergreens have been used as Christmas decorations since the medieval period. All of the plants they chose were the ones that still had their leaves. They symbolised everlasting life.
Brightly coloured ribbons add the final flourish to the wassail bowl, and it's now ready. But what did people do with it exactly?
What you did was you picked it up like this, and it is lovely, and you went off and you scrounged lots of free booze off your neighbours. So off I go. While the villagers are carousing around the green with their bowl full of beer, the village squire was enjoying a much more refined type of wassail made from expensive sherry and served from a beautiful china punch bowl. I'm going to make a rather posh bowl of wassail from a recipe in Robert Chambers' The Book of Days, published in 1864.
He starts off by coring apples and baking them in the oven for 40 minutes until they're soft. He then adds spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves and ginger to a cup of water and simmers them gently to release their flavour.
The Book of Days tells us about the merrymaking of New Year. The head of the house assembled his family around a bowl of spiced ale. The word that passed amongst them was the ancient Saxon phrase, Wassail, that is, to your health. So wassail is the earliest way that we said cheers.
The next step for this festive drink is to add sugar and the all-important sherry, or wine, to the pan.
Depending on the region you lived in, wassail varied. In some areas it was made with ale, in others with cider. Both, however, were zested up with spices, sugar, and often whipped eggs. The gentry, however, preferred theirs made from wine.
Once the sherry is hot, the aromatic spice mixture is strained in. To make the drink nice and frothy, whisked egg yolks are added, along with a bit of elbow grease.
We keep whisking and whisking until we get this wonderful froth appearing. That's called the grace of the wassail.
The drink is then poured into the squire's fancy punch bowl. The final touch is to float the baked apple pulp on top of the wassail.
So here is a lovely warming drink to get the new year off to a brilliant start. So, chin chin, bottoms up, or should I say, wassail.
Wassail to you, Ivan. Another way to kick off the new year in style is with a show-stopping dessert. And I reckon I've found the ultimate. Now, there are lots of desserts that you can do at New Year, but this one has to be the best. And as a pastry chef, I'm saying that with sort of trepidation, really, because when it's made properly, this can be the tastiest dessert ever. It's a Delice of fruit. Really simple to prepare if you break it down into stages. I'm starting by making the fruit mousse filling. For that, I place 4 leaves of gelatine into cold water. While they're softening up, I pour some frozen fruit into a pan along with a splash of water. We can actually mash this around a bit to get plenty of flavour out. As it comes to the boil, I'm adding some cassis. Just a little drizzle. Now stick everything in a blender. After a couple of minutes, the puree is ready to pass through a sieve. You don't need a cloth for this, just through a nice fine sieve. Now put it back on the heat and add the softened gelatine. Now you need to warm the mixture up, otherwise it won't dissolve the soaked gelatine. Just warming it through. And once you don't see any gelatine in there, then we can take it off the heat. And while that's cooling down, I'm going to make the next part of the mousse filling, Italian meringue. Start off by heating up some sugar and water in a pan. This has to be brought to an exact temperature, so you'll need a sugar thermometer. There's no real way of testing otherwise, because boiling water boils at 100 degrees. When you put sugar in it, it keeps increasing the temperature. So you want to get to what they call soft ball, which is about 120-ish degrees centigrade. As soon as you get near the magic number, put 2 egg whites into a bowl and start mixing. As they whisk up, Pour the hot sugar solution slowly and steadily into the bowl. As soon as the sugar hits the egg white, it starts to fluff up. And this is exactly how you make marshmallow, just with the addition of gelatine. When the Italian meringue is done, swap the bowls over and whip up the last part of the filling, some double cream. There's no need to worry about washing the whisk. It all gets mixed in together anyway. Now, the key to this is to make sure the cream is the same consistency as the whipped egg white. So not over whipped, otherwise it splits in the mixture. Now you can bring all the elements of the mousse filling together. Start by mixing the cooled fruit puree into the Italian meringue. Then add the softly whipped cream. With the mousse filling done, I can begin building the Delice, starting with the base. To save time, I basically just use a bought-in sponge, and all you do with this is just cut out the base like that. Better save this, otherwise my auntie will be on the phone whinging. You can use that for trifle. And then we want a nice thin piece of sponge. Now, I mean thin piece of sponge, not a massive, great inch-thick piece of sponge. It's got to be nice and thin. Place 1/2 of this sponge back inside the mould that you cut it with earlier. Now, always do this on the same serving platter that you're going to serve it in. This is not a dessert that you want to be transferring around the kitchen and wandering around with. And then grab some more cassis. Just a little drizzle over the top. Now pour in the mousse filling. Look at the colour of that. Beautiful. Remember, this is just with frozen fruit. Don't forget to leave a little bit of space for the jelly topping. Then pop it in the fridge for a couple of hours to set. While that's happening, I can make the clear fruit jelly for the top. Start by softening 3 leaves of gelatine in cold water. Then put a bit of water into a pan and add some frozen blackberries and blueberries. And then we're going to add the sugar. You can make this with fresh or frozen berries, it's entirely up to you. The thing about frozen berries is that they're available. As the mixture comes to the boil, add some cassis and keep it on the heat for a few minutes. Then take it off the stove and sieve the mix. It's always good to put it through a cloth. You can use a tea towel, but it kind of wrecks a tea towel. Now, it's really important not to press this through at this stage. If you press it through, the jelly just ends up being cloudy. By now, the gelatine's softened, so you can add it to the warm fruit liquid. It'll start dissolving immediately. If you mix all this lot together, you end up with this beautifully clear jelly like that. Now, don't cheat and buy that ready-made jelly. Make your own. Leave this to cool down slightly, by which time the mousse will have set in the fridge. Time to take it out and carefully spoon the jelly liquid over the top. Then put it back in the fridge for a final couple of hours. That gives me time to get Ralph smartened up for tonight's celebrations. Right, New Year and a party. How cool is this? That is proper smart. Happy with that? Oh, come on, Ralph. Cheer up a bit. We have the party of the year later. Anyway, the Delice will have set by now. And this is what you end up with. The rewards for all your effort. It's amazing mirrored Delice on the top. Now, you can decorate this just quite simply. I've got some figs, a little bit of fresh raspberries, a little bit of mint. Now, you're probably wondering how on earth you're going to get it out of the mould. You can do this with a warm cloth around the edge, but then you've got to clean the plate. The easiest way to do it is get one of these for Christmas. This comes free with a mask. When you're not using it, you can sort your car out with it as well. You go around the edge of the mould. The heat loosens the mousse just enough for the ring to be lifted clean off. Told you it's worth the effort. When it comes to serving up, the trick is to first off run a knife through some hot water. That way it'll cleanly slice through the Delice. So once you've cut it, clean your knife, warm it up again, dry it and cut it again. How good does that look? Now this dessert is all about the taste. It looks spectacular, there's nothing else like it. But trust me, it is worth the effort. Because it's not until you taste this. The best dessert ever. And what better time to serve it than New Year's Eve? The biggest celebration deserves one of the greatest desserts. Now, whether you like to celebrate the new year with a loud bang or prefer to mark it with a quiet night in, there's one place that has it all. Austria comes alive and alight at this time of the year, as our festive food reporter Annie Gray has been finding out.
Nothing beats the glistening lights, the mulled wine, the Lebkuchen and the savoury treats. This place is like one big street party. But the crowded markets are in stark contrast to the remote mountains that stand above the cities. And this is where I went to meet Teresa Baka, who runs a very unusual supper club in Stuhlfelden in the Salzburg region. Here she cooks in her Rauchkugel, or smoky kitchen, an indoor open fire with no chimney. The smoke collects under the ceiling of her 500-year-old farmhouse, giving the food a flavour as unique as Teresa herself. This is the last house of its kind in the Alpine region, and I'm going to help Teresa prepare a feast fit for a New Year's party here. That's if I can tear myself away from the views. This is just unbelievable, and this is all yours?
Yes, I worked with my father when I was 10 years old.
So you spent most of your childhood up here then?
I had my father to make the milk, and we have cows, we have goats, and it was my life.
Teresa wants us to make a drink for the celebration. This is before we've done any cooking. This is a sort of cranberry schnapps liqueur. Cranberries are known as red gold here because they help to cure the flu and colds and coughs. So it means that everyone who's here at our party will be feeling great by the end of it, especially useful at New Year. Okay, so we start by chopping the vanilla.
Yes. And now come with the snaps, please, Annie. Put 2 bottles. We work now. Please, 2 bottles. The rum and the cognac.
This one, half in each? Looks like it's going to be quite a party.
Now we must taste. It's too much schnapps. I think a little bit sugar. Hui, wir lassen es schneiden. Snow is come. It's good. A little bit strong.
A little bit strong? That's an understatement. As the guests begin to arrive, Teresa starts cooking the main course in her smoky kitchen. And someone's volunteered me to be her sous chef for the night.
Bring me oil. I need oil.
And on tonight's menu, the traditional festive feast of venison is served with beans, red cabbage and potato dumplings. At Christmas, do you cook like this? Is it particularly popular?
Yes, of course. It is the last day for the hunter. You go in the mountain.
The last day of the shooting season?
Yes.
Yeah. To the venison, Teresa adds some onions, beans, herbs and mushrooms from the mountains, with a little bit of seasoning.
Please, I need ram.
Cream? Oh, here we go again.
Bring me cranberries. Please, bring me all the Bohnenkraut.
Being Teresa's sous chef is a bit of a challenge. I think even James would struggle. Every time Teresa cooks here for other people, the supper club,
she picks on someone and they're her sort of stooge for the evening. And I don't really mind because it's all part of the joy of being here.
It's right.
Thank you.
After adding some finishing touches, the feast is ready to be enjoyed by the party guests. But before I get my break, Teresa and I must make dessert, a special Austrian dumpling cooked in honey butter, served only at Christmas and New Year.
This is quite something. There are so many elements in this New Year's meal. There's the stuff from the mountain that gives a real sense of place. There's the Rauchkugel, the traditional cooking. Everything just comes together. This, if you were having a New Year's party like this, would really be one to remember. Prost.
The guests will soon be arriving for my New Year's party. And to help me cook the main course, I've called in reinforcements. My mate and all-round adventurer, Charlie Borman. Hey, how you doing, fella? Come on in. Together, we're going to cook the perfect dish for everybody to get stuck into. Now, New Year, I actually cook a curry on New Year's Eve because I think it's fantastic. It's one of those dishes you can chuck in the middle of the table and everybody dives into. But I'm going to do a buttered chicken curry.
Okay.
It's one of my favourites.
Oh, God, my mouth is watering.
But the first thing we're going to do is marinate the chicken.
Okay.
So we've got cumin, garam masala and chilli powder, 2 teaspoons of each, in the blender, please.
Yep. You want heaped or just normal? Just...
That'll do. Heaped.
Okay, there we go.
That'll be all right, yeah. To this, add 3 cloves of chopped garlic, along with a teaspoon of ground coriander. Then comes the turmeric. Turmeric is really, really strong.
Yeah, and really colours as well, doesn't it?
So you want it half, okay?
Yeah.
And then half of cinnamon.
Okay.
So these are the 2 strongest ones. Next, we've got some ginger. And you can grab the yoghurt out of the fridge as well. And you can chuck a whole pot of yoghurt in there as well. When the ginger is chopped up, chuck that in too. What you're going to do is just get the blender on and get this going to a paste with some of these. These are cashew nuts, so they're going to go in as well. Once it's turned into a paste, add the juice of a lemon and blitz again. Then chop up some chicken breasts into decent-sized chunks and mix with the marinade. It's best to leave this overnight, which I've done already with some I made yesterday. Then cover a baking tray with tin foil for protection. Ruined your tray.
Oh, what? Because what we're going to grill it?
What we're about to do next,
okay.
because we're going to grill it. So this is what the chicken looks like once it's been in the marinade. And then what we do is we just basically just
lovely colour.
Pop this all onto the tray.
Now, there's something about Indian food as well, isn't it? Every sort of 3 or 4 days, 5 days, you start to crave.
It is fantastic.
Indian food.
With that cooking away, we can make the sauce, starting with cinnamon, cracked cardamom, along with chopped garlic, ginger, and green chilies. So what does New Year mean for you then, really? Is it a calm after the storm of Christmas?
My parents and my wife's parents don't really get on very well. So,
right.
so if it's Christmas and New Year, I always say to friends, have the family round, but get another independent family involved as well, so that the families can't sort of fight against each other because they know they have to be polite. Anyway, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, Jennifer. By the time New Year's comes along, we want to go and party and have some fun.
Absolutely. Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it, really?
And for the last sort of 20-odd years that we've been going up to Scotland. I mean, New Year's in Scotland is just... It's
proper
fantastic, and they love it out there. I mean, it's a religion, almost.
This curry may not be Scottish, but it is ideal for setting you up on New Year's Eve. Chuck the cardamom and cinnamon into a pan. In we go with the garlic and the ginger. Next comes the chilli, followed by a tin of tomatoes. After that's simmered away for about 5 minutes, the chicken will be cooked and ready to go into the pan. Marinade and all. A whole lot goes in. Now we can make the chapatis. Start with tipping out some wholemeal flour onto the work surface and make a well in the middle. See, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so my building days, 10 years as a builder.
Were you 10 years a builder? You didn't. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I did a lot of acting, and then you know, my acting career sort of started heading south.
So what films you were in then?
I was in Deliverance.
Were you?
As a kid, that was my first role, 7. I got a tricycle for that. My father directed it, and he said, look, Charlie, if you sit on that sofa with that bloke, I'll give you a tricycle. It sounds all dodgy, but anyway, I just really wanted the tricycle.
Let's see if Charlie's still got some of his building skills. Add some water to the flour little by little and mix it all together. When the mixture becomes sticky, divide it into 4 pieces, ready for rolling. Got a little rolling pin here. We can then flatten them nice and flat because you want the inside of this to stay moist, you see.
Right, okay.
When you get them nice and thin, you lift them off, cook them direct on the hot plate like that.
Oh, superb.
All right. The chapatis only need about 30 seconds on each side to cook. After that, brush them with some melted butter.
I noticed you haven't clarified your butter here, but I'm just saying, it's not... Anyway, we'll move quickly on.
Right, and then one final thing.
Yep.
As you finish up buttering these,
Okay.
you then take some double cream.
Oh, now that's what it's all about,
Now,
isn't it?
you don't normally see this in a curry, double cream. And this is why we call it a butter chicken curry. If you take the butter and you put it in, and all this flavours it as well.
Yeah, and gives it that kind of shine as well.
Oh,
Butter
yeah.
always makes everything look better, doesn't
You're
it?
getting all your chefy techniques and words out now, aren't you? Finally, add the juice of 1 lemon and season with pepper. Then time for some quality control. Charlie boy, that's pretty good, that. So if you want to replicate this,
Yeah.
we've got about 22 people coming in about an hour. All right?
Okay, all right.
You know where everything is?
You get off and you know, break into that larder of that wine cellar.
Will do.
Okay. So, welcome to the Charlie Borman cooking show, and I'm doing a Christmas special at the moment, and we're going to do curry.
Go.
Yes.
The curry's certainly going down a treat, and it's the ideal dish for everyone to dig into. But Charlie seems to be getting confused about a few of the details.
Is this recipe yours?
Yeah, it's one of actually James stole from me.
What's in it again?
It's got the chicken.
For me, New Year's Eve is all about bringing your best mates together and celebrating everything good in life. And with these dishes, you'll definitely get your new year off to a cracking start.